Right, we're looking at a timber frame here. I'm just going to do a quick survey on it and show you some of the things that have gone wrong. Clearly, there's things missing here, and if you look, there is a sill beam, there is no sill beam, further along, no sill beam, and yet above it we've got vertical posts. That one's been cut off, and there's a lintel been put in for this window. So originally that would have run right down and it would have come down to here with a sill beam at the bottom. So you can see that it's been messed around with a great deal and bits are missing. Now I'm doing this fairly quickly because there's a lot to look at. There will be rotten timber here, and the reason is cement, and that cement is trapping moisture. And it's already, you can see here, if I start opening it up, you've got some timber under there, but actually the majority of this is just cement, and the cement has trapped water in against the timber and rotted it. Here you can see there's not actually a lot left of that timber. It might be faceable, we don't know. I think a lot of this is elm rather than oak, and as such elm does tend to be a bit more badly affected by water and rot. When we're checking frames like this, what we normally look for is to get the paint off. Paint traps moisture and it rots it. So does cement. So where somebody's come along and put cement on the edge of it, if you take that cement off, I think you will have seen this probably in other videos, but you can see that this is very, very soft, and the timber is rotting underneath the cement. So the thing to do is remove cement wherever you see it. Now I'm going around and I'm testing it, and you can hear that it's ringing quite nicely. It's good solid timber there. That one, you can hear it's not so solid. And where the paint's fallen off, it's a bit wonky. So that, I think, is a piece of elm, and it's been quite badly beetle eaten. Here I've taken off a strip of cement, and I don't know if you can see at the back here a piece of timber, flat timber. That is the tenon off the back of this rail, and the tenon goes into the vertical. There is a mortise in here. That tenon is sitting in the mortise. These are the peg holes, and there's another 2 peg holes here, and these 2 peg holes show that there was another rail along there. That rail's been taken out, and we've now got a great big panel of brickwork. That panel of brickwork is too big and too heavy. It's dragging the frame outwards, and you can see that there's a bulge in the frame. So what I would be doing here is trying to take the brickwork out, reinstate that one, and you can see there's another peg hole there, showing where the rail originally used to go. Down here, big hole filled with cement. That's a little bit soft, but it's not bad. And then down here is sill beam, and again, if you knock the cement off, you will see that it's sopping wet behind the cement. Get rid of the cement, it stops rotting. Have a look at that. Very, very soft. That is, I think, rotten. Again, it's a piece of elm, and elm is very susceptible. So you can see that we're chiseling off. I've probably taken 10 or 15 mil off the surface of this already. It's relatively solid in there. You could keep it. This, rotten as a pear, nothing left of it, and you can see it needs replacing. The corner post, that's good and solid, and you can see that it's leaning a bit, and it's leaning because the roof on this used to be thatch, and in fact I believe there is a photograph showing the thatch on it somewhere. But of course it's now got very heavy tiles on it, so the weight of the tiles is pushing down, and it's actually pushing the top of the frame out. So when you look at it, you can see that angle with the weight of the roof pushing down and forcing the top of the frame out. And again, the brickwork in it doesn't help. You put a lot of brickwork in, and once it starts to lean, the weight of the brickwork starts to pull it out. So we do not like brickwork in these old panels. It's not good. Very badly insulated, because of course this is just single brick, and if you take this out and you put a lightweight insulated panel in, that then probably gives you 3 or 4 inches of sheet wall insulation, which is brilliant stuff, and it's a nice toasty warm house. Like this, it certainly ain't toasty warm. Here we've lost the sill beam at the bottom, so we've got nothing tied to anything, and what I'm suggesting we do here is we take this and we tie it together along and retie the corner, so the whole thing then becomes a structural timber frame again. So you're literally reconnecting everything and making it structural. As you walk around, you've lost quite a bit of it here. You'll notice at the top, the apex, the top of the frame there has been cut off. It doesn't even exist anymore. The rest of it, wow, well, it's not very happy. It's missing bits and pieces all over the place. We'll try and reconstruct it. This side gets even worse. We've got a good solid post there, which goes down to sill beam, and there's, I think you can see, there's not a lot left of that sill beam, and there's too many drains and all sorts of things in this area. It's just gone. And we get to the corner post, and you'll notice there's a valley, and unfortunately when people do a bad roof and they don't sort out the valley, water cascades out of the valley and it runs down, oh dear, the corner post. So we then end up with this sort of thing. So if you step back, have a look at it, really, oops, there's not a lot left of a corner post. It's got some solid timber in it. You know, I'm hacking a bit out here, and you could make the case that you could face it. Is it structural? No. We will fiddle with it, we will play with it, and we'll come up with a strategy for it, which will involve reconnecting the base of the posts, putting a new sill beam in. This brickwork is just waving in the wind. The top here, you'll see somebody's done a very artistic rendition of timber in cement. Not a lot's gone. Nothing left of it. It's just completely rotten. God, wind blows the stuff in your eyes as well. But anyway, right, so price-wise, well, if we work on this frame, as you can see, when you pull back, there's quite a bit of timber to do there. I would, if you look at the panels as well, and you do these in lightweight infills, you are probably looking at about £300 a panel to replace them, and I'll hazard a guess at about 15 to 18,000 for the gable in total. If you budget on 20, you'd come in probably under budget. There's a bit of work to do here to replace all this and make it fit back together again. And of course you've got to replace that valley and make sure it doesn't pour water all over your new timber. Around the back, you probably spend another 10 or 15, so probably 30 to 40 if you allow for the gable and the rear frame. About 40 thou, and you should cover most of the work on this, and it will look fantastic. Clean timber, no black paint. I'd like to see it as a lime rendered panel. These are not original, they shouldn't be here, but you're going to have that argument with conservation as to what you leave and what you replace. And I know what they're going to want to do. They want to leave the brick in place. Fundamentally, brick is wrong, but hey ho, that's what conservation like to do. Okay, so that's another one for you, and we'll try and keep an eye on this one as it progresses. It's not actually yet been settled and sold, so it's more of a survey than it is a project management job at the moment.